Hello and welcome back to Haven and Hearth. We are a little less stuttery today, not just because I just opened it, but because Steam seems to have some sort of unseen memory leak. I was floating at like 67% RAM usage, and mind you, I have like 48 gigs of RAM in this machine. I shut Steam down, it dropped by 40%, even though it said it was only using like 500 meg of RAM. So it did that, and then I reopened it, and it only bumped up 3%. It went from 27 to 30. So something's going on there, so I'll just have to kind of keep an eye on that. Obviously, we're still getting a little bit of stutter here. I think some of that just is the game, but that RAM usage definitely wasn't helping. So hopefully this episode will be a little bit smoother. And I did also find the Steam setting that allows me to turn off the little pop-ups. So if things aren't improved enough, I might end up switching to display capture again. And just running the risk of that. That said, however, these crops are ready to harvest. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold down shift and right click, and it changes to this little icon, and then I can select both of those and pick them both up. Excellent. So we got quality 4. We got 4 quality 4 wild tubers. These had the chance to change into something else. They didn't. These are a will product. We need them to go higher. What is our farming at currently? Because what matters is what your farming is at the time you plant them. It is at 11. That is more than 5 greater, which is I believe is the biggest possible increase. So we are going to get maximum potential out of this. Let's just go ahead. Let's go ahead and shift right click. Wait, let's see. So we have that one there. Yeah, so it's 4. So I will just kind of do a 2x2 here. And we gained the little thing from sowing the seeds. This guy is not ready yet. Was that our hemp? I think that was our hemp. Which is not ready yet, unfortunately. Since realizing that it is the farming when you plant that matters, we can go ahead and harvest the rest of this stuff. Because as you see, that's 94 still. Is this now? The way farming works is a little odd. Oh, what's this? Green kale. Okay. Interesting. Oh, I'm seeing the stutter start up again already. Or at least increasing. I'm not too sure about the kale. Haven't really seen the kale. That must be a relatively new addition. Anyway. With it being that way, we can plant some of these because the growth is limited by your farming at the time you plant. But that only means it can't go higher than it, but it doesn't automatically reduce it. It can, however, still suffer the what I think it's like -2 to +5 is the range. So the quality could still go down, but that could happen anyway. The odds are just low. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to plant the wheat. I'm going to keep the millet on hand. I've got this other thing of wheat, so if the quality does drop and we get back up to 94 farming, I can start from there. I'm going to put this kale away. Don't really want that. But we are going to want the wheat because we're going to want straw. So let's go ahead, we will shift right click, even though it's only one, and I will just click one tile. There we go. I now have some wheat planted. And that stuff takes forever. Part of the thing here is that I think the tubers count as a flowering crop, where the hemp and the wheat don't. So the bees won't help. Minor issue. We are going to need straw in order to fix this beehive up. Because as you can see, it's all kind of cracked and damaged. If I were to, say, repair, you need straw to repair that. So that's why I wanted to plant the wheat, is because that will give us some straw. We can repair the beehive, make sure, some sort of damage doesn't continue to occur to it. Okay. That is the farming part out of the way because this stuff takes forever. And I'm just going to keep looping these tubers, whether it's on camera or not. So that'll just be a thing. I will probably end up, at least the first time, getting the harvest on. What is it? I think that's hemp. The hemp and the wheat, so that we can see the new products because those are kind of important. But beyond that, I think we're good for the time being. Obviously, I'm going to want to get my farming up. I have been increasing some stats here, as you see. My masonry and carpentry are 15, which I think I had before. You can see I've kind of been doing studying stuff. I've kind of got curiosities in there, just kind of dumping stuff in as I go. My exploration is 10. I know that one I leveled recently. I got farming up to 11, because again, the higher the farming, the better. Pretty much in general, most of your quality growth on just about anything is going to stem from farming. There is limits to any sort of resource you find in game, but farming affects the quality of crops and trees. So anything that either uses wood from trees or any of the types of fuel that it can produce as well will end up being affected by it on top of everything else. So farming is vital. Beyond that, all right, so we've got these bones. I've got enough for 1 glue. I need 2 glue, so I am going to need more bones. Which really makes me question, do I start investing in unarmed combat? I think I'm going to get my farming to 15 first, which will be another 5,400 learning points. And then I can start getting my unarmed combat up. But before I get any sort of, thing I can fight that, gives bones, which, hint, it'll be bats, I need to get 30 in my unarmed combat. I am no longer healing because I have just dipped below 8,000, but that doesn't matter because if you've noticed, these wounds aren't going away. Now, I knew the swollen bump wouldn't. That's going to require some treatment. We can get the stinging poultice. The blunt trauma I thought would go away, but apparently I am going to need to treat it. Willow Weep is going to be the thing that is accessible to us. If you saw with your keen eyes, it was not in that thing. Where was it? I had grabbed some willow bark. Did I put it in here? Yeah, there it is. There were some willow trees out in the forest. I saw them and went, I know I'm going to need the willow. So I grabbed the bark. Good. Not a big deal. It's just like any other tree. It's just, you mouse over and it tells you it's a willow instead of whatever. Both of these things, both the stinging poultice and the willow weep, are going to require a cauldron. A cauldron is what, like 20? Is it 20 of the clay? And we want it to be as good as we can. Now, we will be moving on as soon as we have access to metal, because metal cauldrons are just better, even at lower quality, than the clay cauldrons. But we do need to start out with the clay cauldrons. So let's see. It's build, right? I believe it is build. It is production and processing? No. Workstations and utilities. Yeah, there it is. Clay cauldron, 15. It takes 15. So let's see. All right, well, I grabbed all of it. It is... I'm not going to care too much about the actual quality on this cauldron. This is the definition of temporary. I'm going to stick it over here. As you see, I did repair a bunch of this area with the stone, at least as best as I could figure it actually originally looked. This is not a great configuration, in my opinion, especially these areas that are dipped here. I don't like it, but I'm going to kind of deal with this as best I can as we go. First things first, we're going to have to get that palisade up. But for now, we need a cauldron. So I'm going to stick a cauldron right there. And I can pick it up and move it. The only thing you lose by picking up and moving it is any fuel that's inside. Fortunately, though, let's go ahead and just click the build. Fortunately, however, the fuel quality does not affect the quality of output from the cauldron. And that's true for both types of cauldron. That is just how that is. The quality of the cauldron matters, the quality of the water in the cauldron matters, but the actual quality of the fuel does not, because I think the reasoning is that the fuel is just heating the cauldron. It's not interacting directly with the product in any way, unlike in something like a fire where you're cooking over it, or a kiln where the heat coming off of it is more direct, than going through that. It's a thing. It works, maybe, kind of, sort of. All right. So I've got that. I need some blocks. Give me 3 blocks. And 3. There we go. Like I said, I'm not too concerned about the quality on the cauldron this time. Let's go ahead and right-click and finish building that. All right. By the same token, I think I can just feed blocks in. If not... Oh, actually, I should probably do this to show you the trick. All right, we're going to chop 2 blocks. All right, so to start, we're going to come over here. And I'm going to show you a neat trick. So, my current axe is quality 24, because I found that some moderately decent stone, and and of course, one of these trees over there is like quality 59 or something like that, so I got a stick from that. My survival and lore skills dragged it way down, but it is much better than what I had before. So, if I right-click on one of these blocks of wood, split comes up, and I split it into branches that are of higher quality than the 11. So these are 16, for instance. So I can then go feed these in. 1, 2, we can feed the block of wood in, that's fine. 3, 4, 5. I'm going to hang on to these 2, because I'm going to need that to start them eventually. All right. So we've got that. I think that's full now. Actually, let's check. Let's check real quick. Yeah, that is full. So basically, it is 2 blocks worth of wood to fill the fuel. And as you can see, it doesn't even tell you the quality on the fuel because it doesn't affect it. If I were to look at this on, say, a kiln, it would show me the quality of the fuel that was in there because it affects it. All right, so we now have a bunch of quality 10 water. What's in this? That's also a bunch of quality 10 water. Let's try and combine some of this. So let's put this water in there, and then we'll put it in here. I would like to try and get some of this water, like, emptied out. All right, let's then put this back. Just real quick. I say as I walk the slowest possible. All right. Now, the reason why, there's 2 reasons why. One is bigger, one is littler. But the reasons why a clay cauldron is just flat worse than a metal cauldron, even at higher quality, is because a clay cauldron only counts half the quality of the water. So it says quality 10, but when we go to make a recipe with it, it'll only be quality 5. So it cuts the quality of the water in it in half. That, number 1, basically makes it so that all things being equal, the metal cauldron will be better. Second, if I were to light this, it would take burning 1 unit of fuel before it starts boiling, which is then when you can use it. This is important because, you're using up a bunch of time, you're standing around, maybe you need to get something quick, like you're injured. There are injuries that will get worse over time if you don't treat them. So every tick counts in those instances. The metal cauldrons, you light it, it is immediately boiling. So those are the 2 reasons why metal is better than clay, but we got to start with the clay because it's what we got. Now, we need the willow weep. Let's take a look if I have... I know there are things that I need to do. All right, so medicine and first aid. Well, there's the stinging poultice. I think I actually have to have that first. So this is going to be a little interesting. So it takes 3 stinging nettle, 2 additional string, and a prepared animal hide. The prepared animal hide is going to be our difficult thing at the moment because all of our animal hide went into making leather. Because we need 10 leather, which we now have, by the way. We now have the 10 leather we need for the corner post. And the palisade post is actually more important than dealing with my few missing hit points. Not that it matters, it's already leather, so we can't really do anything about it anyway. Alright, so we're about halfway through my preferred episode length. I'm going to reboot the client here and hopefully, free up some of these frames. Y'all got any more frames? I'll be right back. Alright, we are back. I just took the opportunity while the client was restarting to go and check on the Willow Weep. I need first aid skill. Do I have first aid? I don't believe so. Oh, maybe I do. I thought that would be a thing. Now, see, I can pull this back up and you guys don't see it because I'm not doing things. So, yeah, blunt trauma. Discover requirement. Yeah, see, it just takes willow bark times 3, clay jar. I mean, usually the stuff for the clay jar, you don't require getting the clay jar first, but we're going to need it anyway, so we need to... Whoa, that was actually a stutter on this end. Oh, the client is still stuttering a bit. Tell you what, how about I film the rest of this episode with the screen capture? Give me just one moment. Alright, the highly risky screen capture mode. Well, display capture is how it actually is listed, but... Alright, so I just gotta be careful moving my mouse around the edges. Alright, so we need more clay. Well, I think we went down here to try to get more clay previously, and we ran into some issues. Specifically, it was a bat, and that's how we ended up like this in the first place. Let's take a look. Can we get over there? Yes, we can go around this way. We will just need to be a little bit careful. Because I can already see bats over there, so we can go around this way. And I could go someplace else for the clay, but I already know there's clay there, and that it's around 14 quality, which is close to the max we can do anyway. And the kiln, unlike the cauldron, yes, the kiln is temporary, but I want my temporary, kiln to last as long as possible, because kiln is cyclic. Every time you get access to enough better clay, you want to rebuild your kiln, because the kiln itself contributes quality to the items that are put in it. That way. Just kind of making sure here. There is a bat in the way. Can I go the other way to get there? No. Alright. I'm not dealing with that. That's how we got into this problem in the first place. Let's just hearth back. And then maybe look at the overworld map, see if there's some place we could get some clay. Because ultimately, it doesn't matter that much. This is still the down below. Let's do that and see. Could we please get some... Add marker home. Okay, there we go. Alright. Clay. We need clay. The easiest place to usually get clay is at shallow water. I'm just realizing I haven't found any shallow water, have I? I haven't even found any rivers. Nothing. Okay, down there. All the way pretty much due south. Alright, I'm going to start walking. I'm not going to have you guys follow me the whole time, but I'm going to start heading that way. Because that should be, if I come over this way, that should be this direction, right? Yep, okay. I'm going to start walking, and I'll be back, hopefully when I get there. Maybe I'll come back sooner if I run into something terribly interesting. Be right back. Alright, I am back. I have almost reached the water. Well, almost, being I'm here, it's there, and I started there. But this is acre clay, and this can be used for most things that clay is used for. Just, there are a few things that require specific types of clay. The funny thing is, most of the things that require specific types require acre clay. Um, I did get a few animals. Like this one is quality 36. I watched a fox kill it while I was coming down. So better than I can actually harvest. Found a hedgehog, got quilled. Quilled, however, will heal by itself. It's 13 points, but this wound will heal over time, so that's fine. I got a rabbit. I needed at least 2 of the hides for the stinging poultices because we have 2 swollen bumps. Each one will take a stinging poultice, and it's not bad to have one in reserve. This, however, has left me with a bit of a problem. I don't have enough space for additional stuff. All right, so I can research, I can study that. That I can do immediately. I don't need the sticks. I don't need the ash. The rest of this, however, I do kind of need. I did find also a wild windsown weed. It is a forageable, and these function as the catch-up mechanic for farming. Basically, as soon as somebody domesticates any crop, it becomes available to be discovered through a wild windsown weed. We'll get to that in a minute. All right, so I've got how much space here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 times 3. I don't think that's enough for a kiln. Because I think a kiln takes... Well, I do have some clay. Let's see. How much do you require? 35. I'm going to need a little more space. I hate to do it. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Even if I got 2 more spaces, I still wouldn't be all the way there. Wait, I have 15 of the ball clay at home, so technically I only need 20. It'll be a little weird, but because normally I use all of the same type clay, but I guess we'll do it this way this time. I have run into one slight issue, however. I still do not have a shovel, which means this is going to take a lot more effort. I guess all I can really do is just do it and see how far I get, right? Let's just dig right here. I'm not caring too much about quality at this point. All right, we're quality 10. That's fine. Whatever. And we're just going to fill up on the acre clay and then use our hearth to go home. Return to Hearthfire. So, let's see. As long as I get 20 clay, I should be good. It's really about quantity at this exact moment because we just need the clay. We need a kiln, and quality matters, but less than one would normally assume for our first kiln. Mainly because we need the medicine. We need to be able to make our stuff in order to heal ourselves. It is slightly more important. I really would. What I might do is I might set a few of these aside and use a little more ball clay. Because like I said, there are some things that require specifically the acre clay. And this is still really far from home. We're going to grab our 2 more. How much... You know what? There are dandelions all over the place. They're not that great of a thing. We're going to toss the dandelions. How am I doing on the rest of this? I'm actually almost there on the poppy caps, but not so short a time that I'm going to wait. Let's just fill up these last 3 spots, and I suppose we'll call it good. Dig. Here we go. Just get me 3 more. I would like a little more than that, but it's not going to matter too much. All right. I guess that's all we're going to be able to do, so let's go ahead and head home and get this mess started. So So let's see here. I guess I will just sort of set the kiln over here as well. At least for the time being. I will be rebuilding it so at some point, but there is nothing so permanent as a temporary solution. Let's go ahead and just kind of set you... I kind of want you inside that, so we'll just set you like there. And we will put one in. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take all of this, set it like that. We got 26 there. I'm going to grab the 15 that is this. That is theoretically easier to replace as soon as I don't have to worry about bats in my path. We will go ahead and do this. This might actually get us a unique-looking kiln, too, because I think it does have 2 color spots. All right, so 16. Now we will grab the rest of this and use as much as we need. Which should only be, like, it should leave us with, like, 7 left, I think. Yeah, 7. All right, we have 7 left, and our kiln is done. Let's just go ahead and set this down. There's a chance this might be quality 11. It's probably quality 10, though. Quality 11, okay. Slightly better than base. The color is just the color. Oh, well. All right, so we need a few things. We are going to need clay. All right. Curiosity, toys. See, I want to make some of these toy chariots. That's not what we're here for, though. The thing we are here for... Oh, where are you? Let's see. Craft. Pots and pottery. We need a clay jar. It takes 3 clay. I think it is any clay. So, let's make one. You may use a potter's wheel for better results. Yeah, we don't have time for that. And the quality on this type of pot does not matter one lick. There we go. We got that. All right. Now we can start to indulge in other things, because there's also the earthenware platter, which is 4, but we're again going to get that same notification, so we're going to lose quality. Like, as you see, this quality of this jar is 5, because we didn't use a potter's wheel. The same thing will happen with the plate, so I don't care about the plate right now. I don't care so much about the plate. Let's go ahead and make our first toy chariot, and we'll still have 1 piece of clay left. Alright, now, we're going to put these in, and now I'm going to have to load this with fuel and get it going. I'm going to take just a moment, check to see how much I need, and be right back. Alright, I took a quick look. The toy chariot takes 5 sticks worth of fuel, which actually, if you look at the thing here, it will rate, that is rated in sticks. The clay jar, however, takes 12. Fortunately, these are things that, leaving them in extra time doesn't hurt at all. So we should be absolutely fine with that. Let's come over here. We are going to grab... Well, let's see. It would be about 3 blocks. That'll do. And we're going to go ahead and do the exact trick we were just doing, where we split these in order to increase their quality. And these are all quality 16 now. And that'll be... I'll have 3 sticks left when I'm done. So let's go ahead. We're going to pick one up. I'm going to hold Shift, and I will right-click. And as you see, I still have a stick in my hand, but the number on in my inventory went down. So I'm going to keep doing that until we have... All right, so there's 3 left. I will take my finger off of Shift and click the last one in. That should be 12. That is 12 fuel. Beautiful. I should now be able to just go to our light fire, which is... I'm going to be doing this a lot. That's why it's on my hotbar. And, well, I'm going to need to get my stamina back first, unfortunately. So let's go ahead and do that. Because I looked and I was like, oh, that's not going to be enough stamina to do this. Let's drink that up. And hopefully this works the first time. One would hope. All right. Here goes. And this takes a moment. Yep. It takes a moment. It uses up 2 sticks either way. We will get the little brand thing, but it's a matter of will it last long enough to light the kiln. And yes. All right. Again, I'm going to hold on to the brand. Oh, okay, and it burned down. So we had that much extra time. It's random. And it's not always enough to actually light something. How is this doing? Okay, we were full on fuel here. We actually probably could have tried to light that as well, but it boils the water off over time. It uses up fuel. I'll do that when it's actually time to get the thing. This is going to take a little while, so I will come back once those are done. On second thought, I just looked at my recording time, and we're basically out of episode length. So this episode was basically about clay. We got our kiln, we got our clay cauldron. Those are good things. We, of course, replanted some crops and stuff as well. Let me go ahead and grab these two. I'm going to go ahead and get these things flayed and get this drying. I'm going to hold on to that squirrel for a little bit because I want my skill up a little bit, hopefully. We got some of these quills to go with it. Those will just be added to my, what's it called? The curiosity queue. And we will deal with the rest of that at some other point in the future. Let me kind of put these someplace where I don't have to look at them. Like that. And we can even do the same thing with the squirrel, so I'm not tempted. Excellent. Stuff is away. All right. This is going to cook. I'm going to get myself prepped to make the medicine we need for next episode. So that is going to do it for this episode. So, until next time, have a good one.